Yeah, by all means, if you can do something, by all means do. But most of the time, also sometimes we kind of think of situations that we'll never get into. So at one point somebody asked me, what would you do if you see somebody robbing a jewelry store with a weapon, and you know that this person has a mother and doesn't have enough money to pay for the operation for the mother? I said, well, the chance that I'm in such a situation is really small. The chance that I see somebody robbing a store, maybe is, but that I know who that person is. Or what would you do? You're on a plane, somebody has a weapon, and you would also have a weapon. What would you do? I said, for me it's impossible. I don't have a weapon. Why should I start thinking about what would I do if I would have a weapon? You see, we start really small, because otherwise we get lost in these big things that we can't really do something about it, and then we want to do something about it, which is good that we want to do something about it, but then we get angry at the people who do these negative actions. I think this is one of the dangers, when we start to take too much responsibility, that we should stop them, I think. This is samsara, so what do? You see somebody, one of your friends lying, so what are you going to do? You're going to tell the boss he loses his job, for example. And then on top of it you rejoice and say, ha, see, this is coming from lying. You become so moralistic and like that. I'm not sure if we have the wisdom to really interfere. If it's violence and you can interfere, then interfere. If you cannot interfere, try to find help. Yeah? Because if I go with a strong guy, I would really get it and end up in hospital or get killed. Who would be impressed by my statue? Nobody. And also I'd be frightened, to tell you the truth. But if we see things that we can do in order to help, then by all means do. But for the moment we're here, we're not on bodhicitta yet, so it doesn't create negative karma. And we look at these 10 actions. This is why first we learn with these 10 actions as actions, not other actions, like walking away or things like that. But you are right, we do have we have the responsibility? Yeah, we do, because all beings have been our mothers. This is what is being said as a bodhisattva, but we're not there yet.
But not from the karma point of view.
No.
Like if you avoid, someone needs help and you have avoidance or to ignore, it's not in a negative action.
It doesn't create negative karma. It creates a guilty mind, which makes you kind of tense and unhappy, the guilty mind. And then you have a chance to become a negative person, because usually guilty people are not very positive. And it can, there was this book about, what was it called, about these kite flyers in Pakistan, I think. What's the kite flyers, or what's the, huh? What's the book called?
Something with kites.
Yeah, something with kites. So it's two friends, and one of them one is rich and the other one is poor, and one of them gets raped, the poor one, and the rich one didn't interfere, and he felt guilty for his whole life. It totally destroyed the relationship. So if that happens, you see something is happening to your friend and you cannot help, or you're too scared to help, it's good to just to go and admit, instead of letting that guilt poisoning your life. So, you see, the Dalai Lama usually says also, we're not God, we're not Buddha, and we're not Allah or Muhammad or whoever. They also fail. Like they can also not prevent all these negative things. What we can do, we should definitely do, without being proud about it, without boasting or whatever, but yeah. Because otherwise, we cannot save the world, let's say like this. Because we cannot go against crime. I mean, look at the police. The police is there to prevent these crimes. Why can't they do it? Because the crime is much stronger than the police. But whatever they can do, they should do to prevent it. I think somebody had you had a question. Do you still have your question?
No.
No?
I have two questions, I think. one is long ago you talked about hell state.
Yeah.
And another state that is
Hungry ghosts?
Yes, and I was wondering, is it a physical human state or is it more...
Yeah, they called it ghosts, so they don't have a physical body, yet they feel as if they would have a physical body. Or they don't have a body that we see, and also it could be that they're living in another dimension.
There's no chance I've met one.
No, not you, but...
No, I'm not me, but some people. Yeah,
but if some people are receptive for these things, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But they don't have they don't have parents, for example. They're just reborn there, and it's the mind who is creating these states. It's not. If nobody has the karma to be reborn in the hells, there is no empty hells. It's the mind who creates these states. It's a bit like in somebody, again, we can take very weak examples that we can start to understand what it means. If somebody is mentally sick and has paranoia and is in a psychiatric clinic, that person is afraid all the time of the people who want to help him or her. So what is creating that situation? The outside condition or the patient's mind? Yeah. So that's what is meant by this. You see, we see animals and we see humans, and then we think that's all that exists. But from the Buddhist philosophy, that's not all that exists. It's just that we don't see these other states. Also, Christianity talks about hells. I think Islam also. So.
Yes,
Huh?
yes, of course.
Judaism also?
Of course.
So maybe it does exist. We just don't believe in it. You know, not believing in it doesn't make it non-existent. And then we have to see, if I start to believe in it, in what way would it help me? If it's just making you totally blocked and even more tense, then better don't believe in it. But if you do believe in it, then...
If you don't believe in it, you cannot get rid of it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. That's what I mean.
If you want to get rid of them, you have to believe in it.
Yeah. Okay, we should really make a break, unless... You can ask more questions, maybe one, yeah, because you had it for a long time. Negative
intentions.
Yep.
I'll give you an example if I can.
Yeah. Okay, look, before you ask your questions, it's much better that you ask questions that are related to you, like what you said before, if I see something. Because if someone, why don't you say, if I have an intention?
I have an intention to help
Okay.
one of my students
Yeah.
who has a wish to become a drug dealer.
Okay.
He's dealing drugs.
Yeah.
He wants to become bigger, earn more money.
Yeah.
I know for a fact he's selling drugs for
Okay.
young kids. And I'm his teacher, and I want to help him. I want to change his path.
Yeah. So by all means do.
But how?
What was the question?
If I have somebody that I want to help that wants to become a drug dealer, and he wants to earn money with it, and he wants to sell it to children, and I'm a teacher, so I see what it does to children. What can I do to prevent him from selling drugs? Okay, I'll give you a very drastic answer. If you are so concerned about this person, and you see the negative karma that he's going to create, you would take upon yourself the negative karma of killing him. But with this we cannot do, because we don't see it. We're not capable of taking that, and we don't have that amount of compassion. Talk to him. Try to bring him to drug addicts again and again and again and again, so that he sees the result of his business. Find him another job. You see, I would like to have a magic stick that I could just touch everybody that I see, and then they don't do negative actions anymore. I would love to have that, but we don't. This is why everybody has to go its own path. Everybody has to go its own way. and we can start running around and telling people, don't lie, don't steal, don't do this. Because everybody knows. Even the rapist knows that he shouldn't rape. But his energy is so strong that he cannot prevent himself. So what we can do is that when we see the victim and the rapist, that we can, when we stop him, if we can, that we can include both in our compassion. That we stop the rapist out of compassion for the rapist, because he will become a victim. Usually we only have compassion for the victim, but definitely not for the rapist. And this is why it doesn't work, this helping syndrome. Because we then punish the aggressors. They don't know why they're being punished. They think it's totally unjust. They get angry. And then they become victims. You see, as long as we have people who rape, steal, kill, do all these things, we will have victims. Because when they're reborn, they become the victims. So that doesn't mean that if you see the victim, that then you go, okay, I don't need to help them, it's their karma. Please don't use it like that. But yeah, if you, how can I make that woman understand that what she did, in my eyes, is not right? Just because you can have it, because she got more. She said, but see, I got it. I said, yeah, but it's not right, in a way.
She could have just asked.
Huh?
She could have just asked for more extra vegetables and pay extra for extra.
Yeah, she could have said, look, I'll pay for it. But no, she said, there's so few vegetables in the pot. And then I said, but look at mine, because I had started eating both together, so there was lots of vegetables in there. She didn't want to, people don't want to see. This is also the habitual karma, that people don't want to see. We have to be very careful when we do that, because we might drive them away. So first, if you want to change somebody, if you want to help them, first they have to trust you.
It does.
Habit, strong habit. And it's sad, it's very sad. It's very sad to having to see people running into their own misfortune and how they create a lot of suffering for other beings as well. Like then we feel guilty, we have low self-esteem because we couldn't help. So when the Dalai Lama is asked this question about how to deal with low self-esteem, so for the Tibetans it's not an issue, that low self-esteem thing. So he said, but you can relax. You see, also the Buddha wanted to help all beings, or wants to help all beings. God wants to help all beings. Other gods want to help all beings, but they failed also. So who do you think you are? You cannot overcome the law of cause and effect. We can try. If we can, we should. But we cannot. And I know when I say it like this, it sounds terrible. If you have poor people and you want to help them, if they don't have the karma to receive the help will never get there. It will get stolen by bandits, or it will get rotten, or something like that. But again, now I presented karma a little bit black and white. So you have to really study more, you have to hear it more, you have to look how it works together, and so on.
Is it possible to feel imprints from previous life?
To feel them.
To have intuition, or to have something like a memory awakening of...
No, unfortunately not. If we would do nothing but purification practices. If we would feel them. If we would see what lies ahead of us because of our negative actions, we would have so much more faith and be so much more willing to do purification practices. But we don't. It's like Chernobyl. Because you have a bad conscience. That's your intuition. You know you did something wrong, and then you forget. The guilt goes. You become happy again. Very often. But sometimes not. Sometimes it stays. But to feel the imprint, no, I don't think that's that. This is just our upbringing that we know, our moral upbringing that we know that this is wrong, what we feel. Can you be a bit more specific?
Yes, I sometimes have feeling this is the only reason I believe in reincarnation, that I sometimes have feeling towards good things and bad things.
But what kind of feelings?
Having a feeling that it is something specific that has been carried from specific things in
But
past.
everything is. Even a cool breeze on a hot day is a karmic
No,
result.
but
Yes, it is.
I'm saying knowing what it was,
Oh,
thinking maybe I can feel to some extent what it was.
well, it is said that karma is one of the most hidden. I don't know it because I'm not a Buddha. Karma is one of the most hidden phenomena. So only a fully awakened being can really see it and know this happens now because see when the imprint had been created. So I don't know. But if you see, this is the only thing we need to know. We don't need to see when it was created, but what we need to know, if something positive happens to us, comes from a positive action. That is what we need to know, because that's what it is. Everybody knows who studies karma, because constructive action brings happiness. Whenever we suffer, we go like, oh, negative karma ripening. Who has created it? This I in here, me. So then we don't blame somebody else. And we start to take responsibility. And we also know, see, these karmic imprints, they get exhausted when it ripens, when it comes back. So if we don't create more negative karma, which we usually do because we get angry and we feel it's unjust and all this, then it's exhausted, then it's finished. It's like having a seed that makes a plant, and you recognize this, oh, this I don't want to have, and you pull it out. You don't make more seeds of the same kind, then it's finished. But we have many, 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 many seeds. I mean, look at many thoughts we have every day. Look at how many words we speak every day when we're out there. This is why being in silence is the best protection, not to create negative karma with the speech. Body is, yeah. Even I didn't want to kill these ants, but I did. So there's no intention, but I killed 2 beings. So there will be a result of that. A small one, but there will be a result. Definitely not happiness. And on top of it, when I did, I didn't care. When I saw it, I didn't really care that much. Now I do care. So now it has a chance to purify. Okay, so we make 20 minutes break and then we do a short purification meditation until 6 o'clock. So you get a little bit the technique of how to do that. Kaya, do you want to lead it or shall I do it?
It's okay.
Okay. Yeah, we're going a little bit like TGV, like fast train speed here. So if you're here for the first time, please do not think that now you understand about karma. No, really. It's very complex. It's not a reward and punishing system. It's a logic that something that is creating suffering will create suffering in the future. Something that is creating happiness will create happiness in the future. And so it's good to look at these actions so that we can keep it really simple for the beginning, because otherwise it becomes really complicated. Again, walking by, when you see it, you have the power to do something about it, and you think, this woman, she deserves it. Then, of course, it's a negative imprint. But if you're scared, how can that create a negative imprint? If you see, I have no power to stop this. You can start screaming, throw a stone, whatever, you can always do something. But also that too has degrees in heavy, not so heavy. Okay? I can't repeat it often enough. If you can help, please do. Please do. So a bodhisattva, he would jump in there even if he loses his life. But that's a bodhisattva, and he doesn't get angry when he gets killed. If you get killed or let's say you get injured in that act and you're paralyzed, would you still be happy about your act, wanting to help? Yeah. That, you see, one looks very, very far. But it's good to help. It's good to help. And then if you want to help and you want to interfere, you say, even if I get injured, I will still be happy that I helped.
Yeah, I know it's good to help, but as far as karma, what you're saying is, if I'm helping, I can earn negative karma, because I'm doing an action which might be wrong. I don't have the wisdom. I don't know what is going on.
Yeah. This is why we have to become Buddhas. But
if I have a good intention and wrong action,
that's okay.
The result is bad.
Yeah. The result is not bad.
No, but the intention is
maybe, exactly. Maybe this is the mistake that we're making. Because you see, when we hear about the 10 Commandments, we only hear the actions. We don't hear the intention. Intention is much more important than the action. Much more important. Much more important. That is what really creates positive and negative.
Even if there is no action?
Huh?
Even if there is no action, there is just intention?
I think if there's just intention, at least at one point an action will follow. Or if you pass by and think, I wish I could help, and you really mean it. You see, this is the thing. All these words and all these kinds of behavior, we can use it as a total excuse to do whatever we want to do, or we can really use it to transform the mind. And that, it depends on the individual, and you are the only one to know whether you're honest or not. And sometimes we think we're honest and we're not. That's what makes it so complicated. This is why we have to train awareness in the morning, so that we see the state of the mind. Because you see, very often we think we have no bad intention whatsoever, but then when we start to look, and when we're more calm, then we see, oh, intention was not so good. Okay. 15 minutes.